Hello everyone, welcome to today's presentation. We're going to be focusing on tilt in game and what you can do to recognize this and hopefully help you in the future for your games to come and not suffer from stress in game, which we all know can really impact your performance. Today I'm coming to you live from the Esport classroom, a little bit different. This is what we have on offer for you wherever you are in the world. Let's get into it. For tilt, what is tilt and how do we define it? So the earliest known example of tilt that I could find was within professional poker, where a player would say something or do something in game to purposely put off the opposition and give them a improved chance of winning. I think this initial statement off the bat, if you understand how this applies to competitive gaming, makes a lot of sense. Whereas the difference being people sometimes don't realize that they're actually tilting an entire team from what they're doing in game or maybe something they've said. Initially, what you need to know, tilt is a form of stress from your body. People can say that it's an attack on your ego or it's an attack on your well-being. It's something that affects everyone differently. Sometimes you don't know what might trigger a person into a tilt state. Sometimes some people are really good at hiding it. The thing is, tilt affects everyone so differently. And sort of recognizing when you start to feel this way is the most important thing in recognizing and then feeling immediately better for when things don't go your way. We understand that a toxic player in your team is all that's required to set everyone off down a negative spiral, and this impacts your performance in game, which as a coach is concerning. We need to make sure that you're playing the best game possible every day, every time you play, every time you're in game. And so for us, we need to understand where is this coming from, what is tilt, and how can we stop it from happening. What we do know is, yes, it affects everyone differently. It does impact your performance, and it can contribute to a state of depression if it continues. So, for example, you're playing too hard, you're trying to find these ranks. If you're pushing, and you're not getting the results you desire, you're going to find yourself in a very steep mental decline, all brought on from this state of tilt. So, for this today, my presentation is focused mostly about you and how you identify and how you react and how you can mitigate the symptoms of tilt. So for now, just think back about the last time you tilted and maybe sometime you lost control a little bit. Maybe you had a stress response, maybe you broke something, maybe you said something. For me, I can tell you exactly when that was. Playing Apex Legends, messing up on some easy shots, and I had a stress response. And I let myself down a bit. I felt guilty afterwards, and it wasn't ideal for me in that situation to react this way. And it was noticed, and unfortunately I felt worse because of it. And there were things I could have done prior to me, but like having an outburst that would have meant it wouldn't have happened at all. Yes, tilt happens to everyone. It affects us differently. You can't affect the way you feel. You can absolutely control your actions. So for this, in preparing for your anti-tilt strategy, prepare yourself. Usually for when I do get into competitive scenarios, I'll say to myself before a game, when I feel like this, I will do XYZ. So when I feel anxious, I will remember my breathing exercise. Or when someone lets me down, I will instead encourage their effort. Things like this, find what works for you and what resonates particularly well with your team. During the game and these demanding moments online, when you're under a lot of pressure and all you want to do is win, personally, I found the notion of simply playing the game for the experience is enough to sort of level me out. And when you start to put these objectives in place and expectations for yourself to perform, then it's a doomed strategy, and you will immediately fall below these expectations that we set for ourselves. So for this, mid-game, be present, play for the sake of playing your game, and remember why you enjoy it. If you notice that other people in your squad are feeling low, then offer some support, maybe ask how they're doing and try to listen to their response. And always be that person that can encourage good play within your team. For the end of the game, if there was something in-game that happened, maybe an outburst or something particularly bad that you would otherwise had not planned for. You can always spend a bit of time at the end of the game, after the match, or even the next day to just talk to that person and say, look, this happened. I wanted to know how you feel about it. Was it expected? And just listen to what they have to say. This incorporates active listening. Active listening is fundamental in actually improving and having personal development occur. Without active listening, people aren't going to be heard, and you really won't understand where they're coming from. So active listening is very much just realizing someone else's perspective without using words. You're using your ears to realize where they're coming from. And more on the topic of active listening, you need to be attentive to those in your squad, in your team, for when you're giving feedback, or even perhaps when they're giving feedback to you. And you need to understand their efforts, you need to understand a bit on their career so far, and then with that you can actually start the process of personal development. It's important as well when someone is talking to you or delivering feedback, you got to hold back on that judgment aspect and hold back a bit on the advice. Stay objective with your opinions, and if they want to talk back to you, if they've got things to say in regards to that, then you're listening. That's all you need to do. You're just withholding your opinion, just remaining objective, and you're making sure that the person you're speaking to, can be heard. Very, very, very quick presentation today. I really hope it has connected with some of you. And for the summary today, I just wanted to remind you that only you can stop tilt in game. That means the fire within us all that wants to take over and destroy the room at times. You got to put it out before it takes hold, and for that you got to recognize your needs. So for example, this can be maybe you're hungry, you're thirsty, or you're tired. These things together is a recipe for disaster, and your attitude in game is going to stink if you're hungry, sleepy, thirsty, etc. So put some time into yourself to realize when you feel less than optimal for your performance in game. Get some food in you, maybe keep some drink with you always by your side when you're gaming, and make sure most of all you're getting sleep. I don't perform very well when I'm tired. I get very grouchy. I'm not pleasant to be around, so for me my sleep is very important. And also, everyone has bad days, so if you found that something happened to you in game, you had an outburst, don't be too hard on yourself. It happens. Most of the time you're actually with people that understand this as gamers. I feel like we all do. And you get to try again the next day. So always keep your head up, remain positive. As for me, thank you very much. I'll be around. You can actually connect with me online through the Team Norse Thunder Discord at any time, and I will get back to you. Until then, all the best. Thank you.